Hi, my name is Ashish, and in this series of designing and architecting network infrastructure in Azure, we're going to start with the video which talks about connecting your on premises network to Azure with VPN Gateway. So, and as far as the introduction is concerned, so let's imagine you are a network admin, you are an Azure admin, let's say, and you have to design and architect a network for Azure for a company who deals in the healthcare provider system. So this company has migrated much of its infrastructure to Azure. So if you will see, my stuff already migrated to Azure, and then what you have to do is, let me just change the font size, please. Stuff already migrated to Azure, and when much of its infrastructure to Azure, and you have to connect the data center and the other facilities to Azure. So we have our job is to, as a network admin, we have to connect on-prem to Azure connection, and we don't currently have the bandwidth requirements for a dedicated server. I mean, as of now, we cannot have express route connection. Okay, connect. We cannot have the express route connection, and we cannot. So we have what we have to do is you will learn the features and use case of VPN gateway. I'll tell you what VPN gateway is, and you will have the requirements for provisioning the VPN gateway. I apologize for the spellings. And you would provision a site to site VPN gateway. All right, so let's talk about the prerequisites. So your prerequisite would be this. So prereqs are, you should be aware about the Azure networking concepts, the terminology. That is it. And then we can proceed further to so a VPN. A VPN, what is a VPN in Azure? What is a VPN in Azure? It is a type of a private interconnected network. VPN uses an encrypted tunnel. It will use an encrypted tunnel, encrypted tunnel within another network. So they are typically deployed to connect two or more trusted private networks to one another over an untrusted network, typically the public internet. So the traffic would be encrypted while it's traveling from the on-prem data center to the Azure. So for the scenario that we have to design and create a network infrastructure from on-prem to Azure, we will use the Azure VPN gateway. So Azure VPN gateway is a type of virtual network gateway. So Azure VPN gateway is a network gateway, virtual network gateway. What we can do is you can connect site to site, you can connect point to site, and you can connect Azure VNet to Azure VNet using the Azure Virtual Network Gateway. So there are two types of the main there are, when you deploy a VPN gateway, we specify the VPN type. Either it will be a policy based, or either it will be a route based. So it will be policy or route based VPN gateway. So there are differences. Route based would be, it evaluates every data packet against those sets of IP addresses to choose the tunnel, and it is only supporting IKEv1 only. It takes the use of static routing, and for the route-based VPNs, we define which IP addresses are behind each tunnel, and so that is a lot of task when we are using the policy-based. For route-based, the tunnels are modeled as a network interface, or VTI, virtual tunnel interface, and IP routing. So we have VPN gateway sizes as well. So if you talk about the VPN gateway sizes, so it depends upon which SKU size are using to deploy. We have basic, we have VPN gateway 1AZ, we have VPN gateway 2, VPN gateway 3, depends upon the pricing. So you have to make sure what all do you need. So when we talk about deploying VPN gateways, so the required Azure resources that you need to deploy the VPN gateway one is VNet, right? So you have to deploy an Azure virtual network, so that you use an additional subnet that we will need for VPN gateway inside that virtual network. The address space for this virtual network must not overlap with the on-premises network that we will be connecting it. Then after this, you will need a gateway subnet. You will need a gateway subnet. You will have to deploy a subnet. The name of that subnet would be gateway subnet without any spaces for the VPN gateway. Then you would also need a public IP address. So we have to create a basic SKU dynamic public IP address. This address provides a public routable IP address as the target for the on-premises VPN device. The IP address is dynamic, but it won't change until we redeploy the VPN gateway. Then you would also need the local network gateway. We have to create a network gateway to define the on-premises network configuration, where the VPN gateway will connect and what it will connect to. So these are the things where we'll define on Azure, and we will define the local on-prem gateway subnet where our VPN gateway will connect from Azure. And this information is used by the VPN gateway to route packets that are destined for the on-premises. After that, you will need virtual network gateway. We will have to create a virtual network gateway to route traffic between the virtual network and the on-premises data center or other virtual networks. Then you would have to also need a connection resource. If you have not heard about the connection resource, go and check out the Azure portal. We create a connection resource to create a logical connection between the VPN gateway and the local network gateway. And after that, these are the resources that you need for the Azure side. Now, will you take required on-prem resources? And if you would remove them, and the number one would be a VPN device on the on-prem side. Okay. And the second would be a public facing IPv4 address. Public facing. And after that, we will go and check out how we can deploy this. I'll be using a sandbox environment provided by Azure because we cannot do the lab for the VPN gateway because I don't have the on-prem data set up. So we will have the sandbox environment which is created by Azure, and then we'll proceed with the lab. Please hold on and I'll come back. So I'm gonna activate my sandbox environment. Let me review this and I'll come back. So as you can see, it is preparing my setup, and we will be using the Azure CLI commands. So this is the infrastructure that we would be using. From Azure to our headquarters, we would be setting up Azure VNet. This is our headquarter VNet. Here it is. This is the environment, Azure VNet. This is the on-prem. So in this exercise, we will simulate an on-premise data center by using an additional Azure virtual network. So create the Azure side resources. So if you would see, it says run this command in Azure Cloud Shell to create the Azure VNet 1 virtual network and the services subnet. So we will create a VNet, which is Azure VNet 1. The address prefix would be this, subnet name would be services, the subnet prefix would be 24/24. Copy here, paste it, hit enter. Let's wait. It is done. So now it says run the command to create a gateway subnet. If you remember, now after creating a virtual network, we have to create a gateway subnet to Azure VNet 1. So copy it, go back here, press it, click on paste. So it is creating a gateway subnet in my virtual network, which is Azure VNet 1, and the address prefix would be this. And the name is always gateway subnet, as I told you, if you remember. So it is done. It now says run this command in Cloud Shell to create the LNQHQ network local network gateway. So this gateway represents the on-premises network that you are connecting to. So if you would say, it says that create a local network gateway, create the resource group is this, local address prefix is this, and the name of the local network gateway is LNQHQ network. If you would come here, headquarters LNQHQ network, come back here. So this gateway represents the on-premises network that we are connecting to, the IP address specified as the remote gateway, which is the simulated on-premise network. Copy, paste, enter. It is done. Now we will create the simulated on-premise network and supporting resources. So now we are creating the HQ network, virtual network, and the application subnet. AZ network VNet create resource group. The name is the HQ network. This is the on-premises network that we are creating. Because this is the sandbox version, we are running it on the Azure Cloud Shell provided by Azure. It is done. Run this command in Cloud Shell to add gateway subnet to the HQ network. I am adding a gateway subnet to my on-prem network that I just created. It will be done. After that, what I'll do is I would create the LN Azure VNet local network gateway. If you remember what local network gateway does, it asks my Azure VNet gateway subnet to connect and to provide the configuration of the on-premises network, that this is the gateway public IP address that you have to connect to, and my local address, that is my Azure address, is this. So it tells the configuration to connect to the on-premise network using the gateway. Now we'll have to verify the topology. So I'm going to make sure that my virtual network has been successfully created. The commands that I ran using the AZ network VNet command. If you would see, it says Azure VNet 1, and this is, it is done. And if you would see the HQ network, it is done. Now we'll run this command in Cloud Shell to verify that the local network gateways have been successfully created. These are the local network gateway from Longwinan, and this is the Long HQ network. So this is the Azure side. This is from the on-prem side. Now if you will come here, this diagram shows the resources that we have deployed. We have deployed the LNG HQ network. We have deployed the Learning Azure VNet 1. The gateway subnet is this. It has this gateway subnet, and they are connected to this site. Now it says create a site-to-site VPN gateway by using the Azure CLI commands. Now we will create the Azure site VPN gateway. First we'll create the VPN gateway for the Azure end of the connection. It takes up to 45 minutes to create the virtual network gateway. So we'll have to use the CLI commands with the no wait parameter. Add it here. Now we'll say run this command in Cloud Shell to create the VNG Azure VNet 1 virtual network gateway. Paste it here. Enter. After that, we will create the on-premises VPN gateway. It is done. Now you create the VPN gateway using the command AZ network public IP create. The resource group, the name, the allocation method is dynamic. Now we'll run the command to create the VNGHQ network. Paste it here. See, I'm also using no wait parameter here as well. It is done. So to monitor the progress of the gateway creation, run the following command. Now paste. Okay. It says active. Next, they want us to update the local network gateway IP address. We'll update the remote gateway IP address references that are defined in the local network gateways. We cannot update the local network gateway until we have created the VPN gateways and an IPv4 is assigned. Have been created or not. So if you see here, paste it here, succeeded. After that, run this command to Cloud Shell to retrieve the IPv4 address assigned to VNG Azure VNet 1. It says run this command in Cloud Shell to update the LNG Azure VNet 1 local network gateway. so that it points to the public IP address attached to the VNet, VNG Azure VNet 1 virtual network gateway. All right. It is still creating that. After that, you will have to create the connections. I don't think it will do the shared key. Wait. It says, remember that LNG HQ network contains a reference to the IP address on the simulated on-premise VPN device. Run this command to create a connection. Let's see how it goes. Shared key is not there. Let me define the shared key. Okay. Now we'll have to. Now that command will work because it will pick up the value from the previous variable defined that I defined. See, it is running now. It is still running. It'll take some time. So remember that LNG Azure VNet 1 in the network contains a reference to the public IP address associated with the VNG Azure VNet 1, the VPN gateway. This connection would normally be created from the on-premise device. We'll have to run the command to create a connection to the Azure VNet. This command is still stuck on running. So now you get the idea how to do it. So now after that, we'll verify the connections if that connections are established from the Azure VNet to my on-prem VNet and from the on-prem VNet to my Azure VNet. And that is how it is done. So I hope this was informative to all of you guys. I'll cover a few more lectures around it so that you are aware of what we are doing in this series. And after that, we will cover the connecting the on-premise network to the Microsoft Global Network by using the Express route. I'll show you how to connect it to Express route. Then I will show you how to secure the Azure resources by using the network security groups and service endpoints. We will also see how to distribute the services across Azure virtual networks and integrate them through the network pairing, virtual network pairing. Then we will also do a couple of things for traffic manager, and then we will use the load balancer. Then we will use the load balance the web traffic using the application gateway. Then we would use the manage and control traffic flow with the routes, design and IP addressing schema for the Azure deployment. Then we'll do centralize the core services by using hub and spoke Azure virtual network architecture. Then we'll do the troubleshooting. So there is a lot of the things to cover in this series. So if you have any questions, any queries, please mention them in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye bye.